So next is going to be your reversals. Okay. And this is obviously my favorite for the simple fact that price can only turn around 3 different ways. Right. This is price setting up a short position. Here's the 3 different ways that price can turn around. Right. So you either have your breaker block, you have your failure swing, or there's a V-shaped reversal. This is why we use the breaker, because this is a 33% chance of catching the reversal. And if you go and look at any of these reversals here, you can see it. All right, so let's take a look at some reversals. Price was heading higher here, right? And then let's see if it has the swing points, which it does. Right, swing high, swing low, new high, new low, breaker, and we reverse from there. So that's one reversal. We're heading lower, right? We're downtrend. Here's a downtrend. We're heading lower. We're heading lower. Swing points, swing low, swing high, new low. Took a while, but there's a new high over here. So once again, breaker. So the first 2 that we looked at, both of them have a breaker as the reversal. Let's keep looking. We're heading higher. We're in an uptrend. We're in an uptrend. We're in an uptrend. Reversal. Let's take a look. Swing high, swing low, new high, new low. Okay, this is 3 for 3 in terms of the reversal being a breaker. Here's the breaker, and we head lower from there. Okay, we're heading lower, 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 lower. Reversal. It's once again very clear. You can see the breaker. Swing low, swing high, new low. Took a while, but new high. So all of the reversals have breakers. Is that really what we're dealing with here? Let's see. Let's just keep going. Let's point out some more. We're heading higher. We're heading higher. Reversal, right? So it's as simple as just looking for the trend to break, right? And this is why I don't submit to saying I'm an ICT trader. I don't submit to saying I believe in one market theory, right? You could just call this an uptrend, right? This is what I used to do when I very first started trading. I looked at trend lines, right? We're making a low, we're making a high, we're making a higher low, we're making a higher high. That's a confirmed uptrend. The very first moment in time that trend breaks, it's a breaker block. This one might not be a breaker block. It doesn't look like there's a swing point in here. Very close, though. Okay, there is no swing point, so I would not call this a breaker block. It does not have the swing low right here. So I would not call that a breaker block. And then this one's finally we get a V-shape one. First time we get a V-shape reversal. Point being is I'm pointing out reversals because that's the next phase of price delivery, right? You're dealing with expansion, consolidation, or reversal. So anytime you can clearly identify one of those things, then you understand how to react to it. Let's do just a couple more. All right, we take out the high here. We finally displace lower. Let's see, I'd probably use, these ones aren't very clear in here. I'd probably use this one as the breaker. Notice how it doesn't get any expansion? This one just consolidates sideways afterwards. Right, so the moment this did not respect the reversal, that's when I would stop looking for expansion. This is also your first example of the failure swings. Like, notice all these failure swings here. but this is very clear because there was SMT here. So if you take a look at these lows in here, the SMT gives this one away. Notice these lows. Notice this SMT right here. SMT is what the market is saying it's time. SMT is the thing that's saying we're going to show some strength or show some weakness. SMT is the thing that's saying it's time to engage. If you can be patient enough to wait for SMT, you're going to have a lot more chances of success here. Another reversal. Swing high, swing low, breaker block. Breaker block gets respected, right? Price doesn't displace back through it. In fact, it shows bearish SMT here. So expecting the expansion lower makes sense. So the second portion of this conversation was reversals, and I'm pointing to the thing that we use. And that's why I use it, because I am a reversal trader. I do look to position myself within the reversal. A breaker block is a 33% chance of catching the reversal. If you can simply just point out your breaker blocks, then you have a chance of catching the reversal. That's the point of the conversation of reversals, is looking for the breaker block. So price is either going sideways. That's your consolidation profile. Price is either creating a breaker, which is your reversal, or it's expanding. Okay, here phases of expansion are very clear. It's a very directional move. Expansion, expansion, expansion. Expansion. A very directional move. Now, yes, you can catch continuation unicorns. So that is a form of catching expansion. It's a little bit harder because it's quicker. Right? When price is expanding, it's decisively moving in one direction. Those are a bit harder to see, in my opinion. Very clear expansion here. Expansion. Beautiful breaker again, right in here. Expansion is one of the breakout traders' best friend. Those are the individuals that are longing when, resistance is being broken. The individuals that are shorting when support is being broken.